Yeah, like Rich said, I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for being here on a special day for the Texas Rangers organization and certainly for the Fien family as well as we announce the signing and introduce Gavin Fien as the newest member of the Texas Rangers organization. So we'd like to welcome Gavin and his family, his parents, Megan and Ryan, his little brother Nixon. And every year we talk about draft time, what we look for as an organization, not just talented players, but winning type players who would really embody the core values and winning traits that we think leads to championship style players. And this year we were very fortunate to land Gavin, who we feel like he embodies every single thing that we look for in a player, from the competitive spirit, the love of the game, the teammate that he is, but certainly the talent that he is as well. And obviously the talent speaks for itself, kind of given where he was drafted and the interest that he had in this year's draft. But we feel very fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to select Gavin as somebody who exhibits not only the talent, but the character. So really, really excited for Gavin, his future, the future here with the Texas Rangers. And would like to take a minute to thank Kip, Josh Boyd, Adam Lukowitz, and everybody in our amateur scouting department who has spent numerous hours over the past year really scouring the country in an effort to find the best players possible for the Texas Rangers. They've once again done a tremendous job, and really grateful to everybody in our amateur department and everyone else who's contributed to this year's draft. So,
yeah, very well said. Just to dovetail on that, it's like going through the process and up to the selection of Gavin. I mean, it was a very exciting time for us as amateur scouts, all the work we put in, and he's a guy we targeted for a lot of reasons, what CY talked about, and we were very fortunate to be able to select him and excited to bring him into our fold here and excited about the future brings. He's ready to roll and get out there and play. He's got a great family. He's a great kid and loves to play the game. He's going to work his tail off and hope he gets up here soon. So we're excited about everything and congratulations. I want to recognize Jake Vollen, area scout, first year area scout. I'll tell a story here. Jake has a common theme with Kip Fagg here. My first year of scouting, I signed Rick Helming. It was a first rounder. So Jake, welcome to the club. All right, congratulations. You did a heck of a job on this and appreciate all your work. Casey Harvey, the West Coast cross-checker, did a heck of a job too and getting us all the information we needed and getting around Gavin and scouting. We've had extensive looks at Gavin through the years, and he was a guy we targeted and feel very fortunate we got a chance to select him, and we're very excited as an organization. Congratulations, Gavin.
Great. Perfect.
Good.
awesome.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, newest Texas Ranger, Gavin Fien.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Kennedy Landry, MLB.com. Gavin, how exciting has just this last week or so been for you and your family and everything?
Yeah, I think just words can't even describe it, honestly. Just being an 18-year-old out of high school, what this means for me and my family, the hard work that I put in throughout the years, just the grind and, the ups and downs, and to be able to, be a part of such a quality organization is just so incredible and, something I'll forever be grateful for.
Kip, I know we talked to you on draft night, but looking back, what do you first remember about, when somebody told you about Gavin and, the player he was?
It was a couple years ago, and I probably forgot to mention Steve Flores, who is another scout, lives close to Gavin down there in Temecula, and probably Steve was probably the first guy that told me about Gavin. I don't know, he's probably been 3 years ago, said this guy's gonna be really good. And, Steve said, we're gonna stay on this guy. So it's probably the first time I heard about it.
We talked about how deep this high school class of shortstops was. What's the biggest thing that stood out about Gavin when you look at why you guys took him?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, kind of the person first, and just getting to know him and what kind of kid he is and knew what kind of drive he had and determination plus the ability. I mean, have a guy that we believe is a plus power, plus hit player. Who's going to defend and play both sides of the ball and be an offensive threat and have a chance to get in the middle of your lineup. So, you can't access those guys a lot, and we feel like we access one this year.
Sean McFarland, Dallas Morning News. Chris and Kip, you both talked about how important makeup is, and Chris, you kind of talked about how Gavin exemplifies that. I'm just curious, in the scouting process, how did you guys identify that in Gavin? Is that through conversations? Is that how does that stuff materialize as you're sorting through prospects?
But it's one of the things our scouts do tremendous background work on in terms of not just evaluating the talent, but getting to know the player, the family, talking to coaches, friends, teachers, really anybody that we can access to learn about the person. And Kip and his staff have done a tremendous job over the years of executing that. I'll let Kip speak to the specifics, but it's one of the boxes that we certainly check, and it's equally as important to us as the talent of the player, as I mentioned. So when we don't have that box checked, we certainly do more work or want to know more about the player. And in this case, Gavin just beyond exceeded everything that we look for in terms of those winning attributes and characteristics of the person.
Yeah, just to add on to that, it's like we tell our scouts, hey, turn over every rock, and try to find every piece of information. It was hard to find anything negative on Gavin, to be honest, and which is a good thing. So, but we do a lot of work on as far as that and try to get to know these kids as well as we can. Our area scouts, along with our cross checkers and myself, we meet with a ton of players and just try to see what they're made of and see if they're a fit for the Texas Rangers. And Gavin definitely was.
Gavin Fien, when did this become a reality? You think, I'm sure this is always a dream, right? But like, at what point in your high school career did you kind of realize that this was a legitimate, attainable goal?
Yeah, I think starting right late last junior year, my brother, he was doing the draft process, so just kind of seeing him go through it and how he went about his business, and then just being able to see, I'm his brother, and we compete against each other, so I knew that was definitely attainable. And then probably last summer, I had a really good showcase circuit, just competing, felt great. So just being able to stack up against the best kind of really made me realize that, I can do it for sure.
Last thing for me, what are the next steps for Gavin? After this, where does he report? Kind of what does the rest of this year look like, I guess?
He's going home. He's gonna drive to Arizona.
Yeah.
Surprise. We'll be out there with our newly signed or agreed to players are over in Arizona and getting ready for a mini camp. And so Gavin will join them, I guess tomorrow, right? Yep.
Yeah, Sean, we do a onboarding process, mini camp with our new draft class and introduce them to the organization, make sure that we wrap our arms around them and make sure that they're ready for everything that professional baseball is going to entail. And but our group does a PD group does a tremendous transition program from amateur scouting to PD, and Gavin will be part of that.
Laura Stickles, Rangers Sports Network. Just what's your reaction to being drafted by the Texas Rangers in this organization?
Like I said earlier, almost words can't describe it. Just such a surreal feeling being able to go to a team like this, Texas Rangers. It's something that you dream about. Big market team, obviously. So they're always displayed in the media, and just growing up, they're a nationally recognized team. So to be able to be drafted in the first round and be a part of that was something that was almost surreal, and something that I'm just very grateful for, and to be able to meet the guys today and obviously get to know Kip and see why it's just been an incredible experience. And this is an organization that I'm very grateful for.
Gavin, you touched on it kind of briefly, but what does it mean how do you and your brother, I guess, help each other, not even just through this draft process, but growing up, competing against each other through high school and all different things that brothers go through? How much have you guys helped each other?
Yeah, I think just being 1 year apart was huge. Just being able to just kind of grow up, have fun with it. And then once it kind of got serious in high school, just kind of grow with that. And, we committed to colleges. So that was pretty incredible. And then to be able to kind of get to the pro side of it was just honestly, just a feeling that me and my parents, were just so excited for, both kids now being in pro ball. And then him now being in pro ball has really helped me a lot, kind of his experience and how he, got his feet wet a little.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gavin. Well.